Or no, you better not fuck up your engines.
I'm a ghost.
I see you.
That's
On,
clean.
Somebody just it says y'all get later and later lately, dude. Sorry, homie.
Can't help it.
Yeah, I can't help it. It's all in good fun. There we go.
Next week you should go 1 minute earlier just to troll that guy.
I think
I did that at the dealership once, man. I walked in at like 7:03 and some manager from some department I didn't work at, he walks up to me. I'm walking through the body shop and he like busts out his watch, big like giant gaudy watch thing like the I'm the boss watch. And he's like, it's
I'm the boss
7:03.
watch.
Yeah, he goes, it's 7:03. And I said, okay. And he's like, we start here at 7. You're late. I'm like, okay, sorry. The next day I walked into his office at 6:57 and I knocked on the door and stuck my head in and I was like, hey, morning. It's 6:57. I'm just making up for yesterday. Have a good day. It didn't go so well. Like I started getting in trouble a lot after that.
That's
I
funny.
couldn't help it, man. I just had to do it. I was like, bro, if you're gonna be petty, I'm gonna match that level. Got a second.
What's up,
Yeah.
everybody? Cliff Notes. We have Bob Dolan in the house. Zeke Star, what up, dude? DCR up in the house. West Virginia BP coming up soon. We're gonna get your truck. Brian Baldridge, what's up, buddy? I've been thinking about you. Yes, Jeremy. He just emailed me. We are rocking and rolling. We were having a pregame fiddle farting around, getting set up. Got a couple things going on. I really want to talk about the short that I did today and talking about flat rate and how a paying customer is going to perceive a job that is done quicker versus paying what the book time pays. And we have, if you guys are familiar with Forescan, I know you are, we talk about it all the time. We have Zoodad on here. He is the king daddy of all Forescan things. And he actually has a check engine light on, so he's going to be our in the truck in the field, and we're going to go through his check engine light on his 2020 450 and see what we can come up with. He does have a code. We pulled up connected vehicle data. We got CP on the case. We have Ford Boss and Rain Man. We're going to get some input on how you handle this kind of situation at the shop. And it is kind of a touchy subject. And some of the comments briefly going through, somebody said, I'd rather pay for all your tips and tricks so that I can get my truck back faster. Okay, that's one way to look at it. I like it, and he'll pay book time. I get it. And then somebody was way on the other side of the spectrum and was like, I'm just paraphrasing, I'm not paying for a job that is 4 hours and it took you half the time, and there's the can of worms. So, when it comes to paying the job, obviously, or charging for the job, there's a lot of factors that come into play. Is this a frequent customer? Have they bought a lot of vehicles, parts? Do they come in here and give you a hard time? Are they nice? Do they take care of the vehicle? That this is a lot of things that you have to take into consideration, and sometimes you have special labor rates for different customers, or depending on the job, you're not going to charge full door rate for a front brake job. Usually, those kinds of things are at a different cost. So how do you guys feel in the comments here about that scenario? So a customer comes in and says his 6-liter needs a turbo. True story. And I have a video that I made, and there was no editing. I did just like they do in the casino. Boom, boom, boom. Nothing's happening. Boom. And I dived in. I had my tools ready to go. And I took this turbocharger off the 6.0 in 10 minutes and like 20 some seconds. And The book time for that is like 3.1 hours. And this customer just was not having it. And it is kind of, you don't want to be a DICK to him, but in reality, it's like you are paying me for all of my experience for me to have gotten to that point.
Someone
First
has to
off,
pay
if-
for your tools and experience.
Right. And first off, if you're bitching, you should have done it yourself.
So let me ask you, if it takes you 6 hours, is he gonna pay you 6 hours of labor?
Oh, hell no.
I mean, if that's the coin we have to play, then I think it should go both ways. But
Right.
That's
from
a
the
good point.
customer's point of view,
How's it going, guys?
absolutely not. You can't do that.
Not
You
buddy.
quoted me this much money.
Well, that's
And
like
that-
going into the doctor's office and they have their rate of $350, but they see you in 10 minutes. Are you going to pay less than the 350? Or are you going to pay their standard rate of 350? It's kind of double-edged sword here. First,
Do I get a discount in the drive-through line if it takes too long to get through the line?
If it's
Nope.
over 30 minutes, Domino's gives you the pizza for free.
You would know that. You're like,
I agree,
absolutely,
man.
you do.
Oh, my car just stalled. Oh, I can't get it.
Guys, I think the most important thing here, and I'm not trying to cut anybody off, is first take a step back. Everybody take a step back and explain how we even come up with these numbers that people are paying for X job, Y job, Z job. Sometimes it's a labor study. Sometimes it's a average of master technicians doing this job that never have seen it before. Sometimes it's computer generated based on data that is how many bolts, how many nuts, what time goes into this, a series of things put together, and it's not even actual fair to the technician sometimes. Sometimes they're being undercut and you're not actually paying them enough time. Sometimes you are paying them enough, but say, for instance, Cody has done so many freaking short blocks on 1.5 liters. He has become an absolute freaking nut guru on these things. He can do them in his sleep with his eyes closed, his hands tied behind his back, and he's the best at what he does. He can do them in 14 hours, 15 hours, or whatever customer pay is 24 hours for this job. He has become a guru in it. That's the guy that you want to be paying that amount, the full scale to, because he knows that, first of all, that vehicle is going to get done faster. It's going to get done efficient. He's already worked through all of the obstacles in his life in doing that job. He's already fixed all the little errors and stuff that he's made, and he's become very efficient at getting through that job. When I'm doing those engines, I'm already reaching for the next thing, trying to unscrew it while I'm doing something else somewhere else, because I've done so many of them. I don't have to think about the next step and the next step and the next step. I want somebody like that working on mine. Now, I'm not going to penalize that guy because he can get that job done in 15 hours, but it pays 24 hours, 25 hours. I would rather pay full scale for that guy to do that job because that guy has done it so many times. He's already seen it so many times that that guy is now not just a mechanic or a technician or a master, or he's now considered to me a guru at what he does. He is the guy I want to go to have my stuff worked on because he's earned that right to get paid that 25 hours and only take him 15 hours to do the job. That's how the numbers come up.
I mean, I had transit fuel systems down to 4 hours.
Yeah.
When they came out with that recall, I did 50 of them in a row.
Yeah.
They were
Oh,
10-hour jobs. I had them down to 4. Doing 2 a
Look at
day.
You remember the expedition harness thing that just happened not too long ago, Cody? The technicians that got those initial push from all the rental companies and stuff like that, they got super good at pulling those boxes apart, splicing in the wires, running the relays, running the routing and stuff like that. I could have what did the job pay? Like 3 hours, 3.5 hours or something like that. I could do that job in 27, 28 minutes because I'd already done so many of them. I got super good at it and had no failures. And I could just rip through them. But
Took
Yes.
me
because I
about
got-
40 minutes.
That
Yeah,
was
about
the
40
same
minutes,
with
I could get it.
That was the same with the, I think it was like 2-liter escapes that had that splice recall.
Yeah, gosh, I forgot about those.
I was doing 10, 15 of them a day, doing them in 20 minutes. with a soldering iron and not using butt connectors because it said
See,
in the.
You're good at it. You're good at it. I was not good at it. I did not like it. I hated it.
I loved them.
See, that's why that's why you'd be the guy to go to get that repair done, because you were good at it. You're fast at it. You shouldn't be penalized because of your quality and the expertise that you put into it and how efficient you are and proficient you are. That should be something that's praised. If you're not making mistakes and stuff like that, and the quality of the work is there, to pay the guy the money to do the job. That's what he's worked himself up to that point to do.
I mean, I'd hate to pay less and get a lesser quality job. You know,
Right.
that's never an option. You're like, oh well, if this $400 job only took you $200 worth of labor, why am I paying $400? Do you want to know what you kind of job you get if you pay $200 for this job? Yeah.
Like,
Do you want the bolts to fall out of your brake caliper going down the highway and lose brake pedal? Do you want that to happen? No.
Ford Boss had briefly touched on it, and it I think we forget, so we're just talking about customer pay. So now the warranty side, usually Ray, Rich, what's the between like warranty and cash? What's the percentage? Like warranty is usually like half.
30%.
It's like 30%,
1.5%.
33% lower.
Is okay. So that's what it is. So same scenario. So here is what I'm dealing with right now. I have a 19 dump truck that is unfortunately under warranty. But it needs an engine. And Ford is gonna say it's gonna take 19.4 hours to replace the engine, and that includes cab removal. Well, I'm going to have a lot more time into this because all the aftermarket stuff. So if it takes me 40 hours to do this job, I'm getting paid 19.1. But it is kind of that's why we hate doing warranty work sometimes. It just like having warranty engine after engine, after transmission, after.
But that's where we catch up, is when we do our jobs that is customer pay and we can knock them out in no time.
That's true.
That's where
But
we
there's
catch up.
Isn't there op codes you can use or M time for accessory removal?
Yeah.
Depends on your warranty admin. Some of them don't like using them.
Yeah, I mean, you can use this op code with this one, an extra, just say 0.5, just throwing numbers out there. But
You gotta get a good warranty admin that doesn't care about running up M time.
That's right. Real Ford Tech said M time it up. That's damn right.
You know what sucks about that is you can spend a half of an hour not working chasing after a half of an hour on a ticket. So you do a job you do a job that runs longer, and it'll take you 40 minutes to get them to pay you 0.4 extra. It's just sometimes it's just not worth it. Walk away and get something else.
Waste of time. I know.
So that's why more states need to do what the state of Illinois is doing with HB 3940, because in the legislation it states that the technician is not to be penalized doing paperwork. If he's working to get pay for what he's worked, he should be paid for that as well. That
Correct.
should not be something that is swept under the table. If I got to sit down and go through SLTS and figure out labor ops and everything else and how I'm claiming everything that I've done, the paperwork and stuff that's being done, the technician should not be penalized for that. The mechanic should not be penalized for that. He should be paid for the amount of work putting in to be that energy he's exercising, trying to get paid for it. That should all be in there. And that's what the legislation states now. There's no more that half hour that you would lose trying to get paid that half hour. The legislation actually is written that if he's spending that time to do that, then he should get paid that as well. Every state should be that way, but unfortunately it's not.
I like it when you get the ones in SLTS. It'll say, this is your op code for engine removal. Does not include evac and recharge AC, just using this as an example. But then you go down to HVAC and it says, cannot use this labor op with this labor op. So they kind of double whammy you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's where you would claim M time. If you have a good warranty clerk that can do it. Like, just the way they word it, where you can't put two op codes together, but you're doing the same thing, but they're paying you less money.
Abnormal diag or something.
Yeah,
I
And-
have something. I think they shouldn't just like show the customer the hours for it. That should be an in-house thing, like for, you know, the techs, not list it on the receipt or whatever.
Well, it's just got to show labor broken down by like people can figure that out.
Itemized or something.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that it would show how long it took the tech to do it, but it would definitely show, you know, how much labor is. And if they know what the
Correct,
labor
correct.
rate is, which is posted in almost every single shop, or at least mentioned, I mean, people know how to math and they have calculators in their phones.
they can see your notes, but they can't see how long you ran time on it.
Yeah, so then that's all that matters. As long as it does, as long as what it took you to do it isn't shown, I don't see any problem with it showing everything else.
So what is it?
I
Cody? You
believe
gotta
that
run
it should just
75% of the
job.
time is what you got to run, I think. Isn't that right,
They-
Cody?
Mhm.
Actually,
Something like that.
actually, they got rid of that. I think it was at least here they got rid of that. Ford can't make them do that here anymore. And it was supposed to be something that was going to end up going nationwide. As long as you clock in and clock out, and you have a justified story, and the job is complete, and the customer receives a repaired vehicle, it is supposed to be against the law for a manufacturer to not pay you for the time that was put into that vehicle. And that's what they stopped doing here. You do not have to run. You have to clock in. You don't have to be on there the whole entire time, or even 75% of the time. Clock in, write your story, do your 20, 30 minutes, whatever it is, writing your labor ops and stuff down if you're trying to write a real good one for a big job, and clock out. That's all they need. They
Yeah.
don't need anything
Yeah.
else.
Yeah, we still had to run time on ours, at least 75% of the time. And I think, was it about 4 years ago, they started taxing labor here.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
So
They
You'll
don't. They
get-
do not tax labor here.
you'll get
Oh.
taxed for the parts. You'll get the job, you'll pay the labor rate, you'll get taxed on that. Then you got shop supply fees and miscellaneous fees and oil
Yeah.
disposal fees. And
Yeah, here we can't do that. All we can do is if we need to tack on like $10 for like brake clean, shop reg and stuff like that or something, you know, a certain percent of whatever the bill is. If it's a big job, sure. Miscellaneous for fluids and stuff that we'll need or something like that that's not foreseen at the time. And then if you don't use that money, you end up crediting it back to the customer. But here labor is not taxed.
yeah, they
Yeah.
started doing that here 4 or 5 years ago. They started taxing labor.
That seems wrong to me, but you know, it's
Yeah,
okay.
me too. But
Yeah, I mean that
Wow.
money is already taxed on everywhere it goes. Why does it
Mhm.
need? Why does the customer need to pay? That doesn't make any sense.
because the tax man wants more money, you know
Oh,
this.
we can-
That's
We all
anything.
know where this conversation's
We-
about.
Yeah, we
I'm, not
can-
I'm not trying to to derail what we're talking about here.
But I agree with you.
Uh,
I think we're all on the same page, and it doesn't make
Here's all
sense.
the tax.
Yeah.
Does any of it make sense? They tax us when we make it. They tax us when we use it. They tax us
Here we
when
go.
it's taxed across the board. It's taxed 4 times before you get to receive
Yeah.
the product.
Can I just crap and not be taxed?
Don't die or they'll tax it again.
Tax your water, so no, Aaron.
I'm in the restroom. I'm resting.
They could tax you to breathe, they would.
All
Right.
right, let's get to some deep diag.
Here, well, Aaron, not yet. Here's something I've noticed about customers now as a general manager, business owner and stuff. And this is how screwy people's minds are. Now wrap your guys' minds around this and let me know what you think about this. Me and my business partner, we talked about this. We give a customer, we'll say, hey, give me $500, I can fix the car. $500, you can fix the car? Wow, it's been to 2 other mechanics and they couldn't fix anything. Sure, I'll pay the $500. Here you go. Now, different scenario, same thing, same exact outcome. It's going to be 2.5 hours to fix the car, and I need this part, and it's going to cost $500. What? It's 2.5 hours, and you get $500 for 2.5 hours? Wait a second. That for you make that much money? I mean, I don't understand. And what? How? People's minds are screwy. They don't like when you break down on paperwork, fine. They don't like when you tell them how long it's going to take to repair a job. They don't like when you say this part is going to cost this much and this is going to be how many hours it is. And then with tax and everything, this is how it's going to come out. In my area where I work, if you just tell somebody it's going to be $500 to fix the vehicle, they're like, okay, go ahead and do it. But when you start breaking down to let them know, the intelligent person that you assume that they are on the other side, it's going to be this many hours, it's going to be this part, and this is the amount of tax, this is how I come up with this, they freak out. They start asking questions and they're like, oh, I don't understand why you make so much money. Have you ever dealt with something like that? You guys, anybody, Ray, you own a shop?
No, I can't say I've had somebody really argue. And I mean, you try to sell somebody tires, you get that a lot over tires. I can go somewhere else and get it cheaper.
Yeah.
And I don't even have the conversation, because if the price is the price, that this is what it costs.
Yeah.
I'm not out here to 5x my money, but I'm not going to go broke to do you a favor either. It just you have to. It's not that you're cold, but you can't just give away everything and expect to keep the lights on and the doors open. You have to price where you can make a profit, and you have to price the same across the board so it's equal amongst all customers. You can't charge one guy, hey, I think I want to do that job for $300 today, but I don't like that person. I think I want to do that one for $450. So you just have to have it even, and this is what it is, and the price is the price, and that's what parts markup matrices are for, and that's what a labor matrix is for. This is what these jobs cost, and
and they can shop it around.
Absolutely. I've heard that, and you hear that a million times. I can get an alignment down the road for $40. Oh, go there. Where is it? I'm going to start taking mine over there.
Yeah. I'm not going to do this anymore.
Please tell me where that's at. It's, a reasonable business will price accordingly with the services they offer, and you're not gouging people, and you're going to be competitive for your area. It's as simple as that. You look around at what's everybody else's labor rate. Can I afford to beat that? Can I get an advantage there? Or am I specialized? And if average labor rate in the area is $180, do I charge $200 because I specialize in 6-7 diesels, or I specialize in Corvettes or Europeans? Those guys can charge more money because they have less competition around them, and you get what you pay for.
There's a Volvo shop. There's one place in town that I would take a Volvo. There's a Volvo shop here in town. It's close to my house. And he's like, unless it's like brakes or a battery or tires, he's like 4 weeks booked out. He charges $175 an hour. And the local Volvo dealership doesn't even want to do timing belts. They just send them all to this guy. He's got like a line of Volvos. Like there's so many Volvos, it makes you sick. But he's a specialist, and he's 4 weeks booked out on that kind of work. 4 weeks.
Oh.
And he's like, I keep raising my labor rates because I need to balance it out. If I'm gonna do the work, and I have all this work in front of me, and I'm the only guy that's willing to do this, I need to make myself to where there's a balance of the work influx plus what I can do, to where people aren't waiting 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I'm also not giving my time away and hurt my staff. It's a balancing act.
So what I was getting at with that is people's minds, they work differently. And when you try to break something down for them to show them why they're paying this, a lot of times in the area where I have a business, it doesn't work. They freak out. Though. Yeah. I mean, but if you tell them a dollar amount and you don't break it down for them, they understand better in dollar amounts than they do you breaking it down for them sometimes. So what I realized early on is I'm breaking this down and talking to the customer on the phone or in front of me, and I'm dealing with the wrong type of person that wants that. They don't want that. Yeah. Just tell me how much.
That's where good advisors shine and bad advisors fail, because they can read their customers. They know who's going to want it this way, who's going to want to hear it the other way. And that's the art of being a good advisor.
So I realized that the majority of my customers, they don't want all that other stuff. They just want you to tell them what it's going to cost to fix it. But then every once in a while, you'll have that customer that, can you break it down for me? Well, sure I can. It's gonna take 2.5 hours to fix the job. It's gonna be $40 for the part. It's gonna be this much tax, and when you total it all, it becomes, you make $150 an hour. Yeah, I do. That's my shop labor rate. It's big letters right there on the sign. As soon as you come into the shop, is that surprising for the middle of Chicago? I have a $10,000 mortgage every month. I have,
Got employees to pay, man.
I have $20,000 in
Insurance
parts I gotta buy every month. I have $10,000, $15,000 in tax every month. I have insurance I gotta pay and employees I gotta pay. Yeah. And they don't get that until you say that. And then they're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be complaining then. Probably shouldn't. You want me to fix your car or not? Because now you understand what goes in the smallest spectrum of what goes into running a business. Oh yeah. Just yeah, fine. Whatever you want. Fix the car, $500. And then they hand you $100 tip. Once they understand that it ain't that easy, bro. You don't understand what goes into this stuff until you start breaking it down to them. And then they're like, oh, okay, maybe I shouldn't complain. All right, I'm off my high horse.
Yeah, $150 an hour is not $150 profit.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yep.
No.
Correct.
That's right. It may cost
That
you
was a-
$100 an hour just to operate.
Yeah. And I'm being told
That's
that I'm
right.
too
Yeah.
low.
It all costs money. Rent costs money. Power costs money. The internet costs money. The computer costs money.
Tools.
Everything.
Phone costs money. The uniforms, the soap,
Yeah.
the parts bill.
The programming services for our scan tools
Yep.
every month, all
Yep.
that stuff.
The brake cleaner.
Oh.
Brake clean.
I don't
Oh.
think it costs great money. People keep dropping off cases.
I buy brake clean with super chat money.
That's
Oh
fair.
yeah.
Seriously, that's where all my brake clean
Yep.
money comes from.
You have like
It's
your
like-
own bank account. This is
Yeah,
the
these
brake
guys
cleaning
do it.
account.
That is every time someone sends me a sticker or $5 or $1.99, I'm like, yep, that's can of brake clean. Throw it everywhere.
All right.
Yeah, you don't
All right,
have
man.
a coffee tip jar. It's brake clean fun.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. I like Diag. I like talking about how to get these trucks figured out. And sometimes it takes you a little longer. But you know what makes the whole job better? And I'm not talking about the warranty because that you're never gonna win with the man. When you're doing customer pay, it is having an understanding customer. I understand. I just want my truck fixed. Do whatever you got to do. It's not calling you every tip or tech. This guy is this yo. I appreciate you, buddy. So we have Zoo Dad, and he is a customer of a F450, and he's going to be our 450 customer because guess what? Nobody here has noticed DS trucks. He was here and now he's left. You guys should just.
Wait, he didn't even say bye.
He didn't say Jack Diddley. Look at
Man,
he's gone.
I had the
Ain't that
screen
some shit?
minimized.
What if they? What if he just lost power or something?
Man, he didn't lose no power.
He's got a power inverter in his truck.
Yeah, and a power boost. He didn't lose no power.
I'm just trying to give him an out here. That's all.
Yeah, he ruined it for himself.
Good look.
But we got our 450 daddy back, and he actually made a trip up. He saw the shop. I actually had to replace the A-pin in his truck and some cameras, just like the video you saw for Tuesday. And right now he has a check engine light on, and we have a kind of a weird code. P24FE. 24FE. Let me screen share. I want to show you guys. I'm gonna be leaving the chat. Hold on, let me go back over here and pull this window down so we're not all garbled. We're gonna try to figure out what he has going on. Okay, let me go back to screen share. There it is. Okay. Here's Brother Man's truck. New alert. Diesel exhaust fluid warning. Beep, 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 beep. What's happening? August 23rd? That's
That's
today.
That's the new 20 EE.
This message or that code?
That code.
Ooh, SCR catalyst incorrect. All right. Let's check this out. Let's go to the PCED, powertrain control emissions diagnostic manual. This is something I frequent all of the time.
Well, at least on the F-150s, that's the 20E. That's the new 20 EE.
Yeah, let's do a Cody here.
You already verified there's nothing in
P24FE.
PSVs and SSMs?
Look at that. Same possible causes.
Look at that.
Aaron, you already looked into SSMs?
I did not yet. Let me
Come on, man. We know that's the first step.
I was looking at the definition of the code.
Yeah.
Control F that thing.
P24FE. Oh yeah, I remember I looked earlier, there wasn't.
Okay.
That was at work. All right, back to the PCD, 24FE,
That's
pinpoint
weird.
test RD. I wish Forescan could look at mode 6 data.
It should
That'd
be
be
able
nice.
to.
Can you look at mode 6 data, Zoodad?
I don't think so.
I believe it does have mode 6. At least on some vehicles, anyways. I know it does on Erica's Mariner.
24FE. Do we have this code? This is the first pinpoint test stop. We have 24FE. So yes, we're gonna go down.
Scroll up a little. Scroll up. Scroll up. Scroll up. Do yourself a favor and click the 3 bars.
This?
Yes. Hit OK.
I'm about to learn something. What did it do?
Scroll down. It brought up the whole pinpoint test.
Oh, no way. What? You dirty dog, you. Okay.
We're always learning something about this with Cody.
I'm in this place for 8 hours a day. So
Cody would know. If anybody knows, it would be Cody.
I like it. That's fresh. Okay. 24FE. Where you at, baby? All right.
All others.
All
Yep.
others.
All others. RD5. Are any DTCs present other than these codes, 24FE? So let's go back to the connected vehicle data. We had codes right here. PCM, anything else in PCM? Nope, just one code. Okay, so any other codes present? No. For DTCs 207F, 20EE, or 24FE. Okay. Zoodad, see if you can find DEF con C. Access the PCM and see if you can find this PID. And if you want, you can go ahead and screen share yours.
Oh, I didn't even know that was there to look at the concentration level.
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that was there. The hell am I talking about?
I don't know.
I don't know if I
yeah.
trust it, but
Hey, it's
Well, that's going to
See-
be a direct input to the PCM.
see
Yeah,
what you
it-
can do. What you can do though, you can do pinpoint tests RD6 by pulling the injector. You can check concentration, you can check contamination, and you can check injector pulse all in one shot. So you knock out 3 of the tests in one shot.
I wonder can
That's
we do
why
the
I-
dose?
That's why I like just pull it. That's why when I tell techs, I just say pull the injector and do the reductant concentration, the contamination, and the actual dosing test. Because you can do 3 in one shot and be done. You can completely rule out DEF that quick. And the injector.
smart.
I mean, I'm just trying to look out for technicians because I know doing each step of these pinpoint tests sucks.
You're just a smart little cookie.
He's a smart cookie. Hook
But
it
I
up to
also-
pressure washer.
I also send them a response about as long as a page in a book, and usually no one reads it. So
Without IDS or a Ford login, can you access PCED? Without IDS, yes. You will have to go to motorcraftservice.com and you can actually view everything that we're viewing right now.
So what you're saying is you don't even need an account.
Hey, Rod, I was
Motorcraftservice.com.
able to bring that up. Let me know if you can see it.
Okay, I can't see. Go down to the bottom of the Zoom meeting and hit share screen, and then it'll
Great.
pull up.
you can click on view options and click on Zoodad.
On my phone right now, it says there's a drop down and it says I can go to Zoodad's screen and I can select his by itself. So now I'm looking at his screen and it says the depth concentration is 32.0.
Oh, I can't see that.
Aaron probably just have to stop sharing his real quick so everyone else can see it.
Oh, let me see. Yeah, probably. Okay, let me hit stop share.
I mean, you
Oh
could
yeah,
probably
good job. Yep, you're right. You're
you
right.
could probably take control of his computer and bring it up, but
Okay, so 32%. That's good. All right, so we wanted between 28 and 35. So 32 is right on the money. Is it between it? Yes. RD7. Check for a potential source of contamination. Investigate the following items. Do we have any contamination of oil consumption, coolant leaking internally into the engine, or is he using any unapproved cleaning agents? No. RD8. Carry out a visual inspection. It wants to look at the NOx 1 module, NOx 2. It wants to look for any cracks in the gaskets, the flanges, looks for any restrictions or blockages. Check the air intake system, check the air filter, check the charge air cooler, visually inspect the secondary cooling system, the intake manifold gaskets, make sure the oil fill cap is correctly installed and the oil level indicator. Check for any EGR gasket leaks, inspect for radio frequency interference or electromagnetic interference. Is a concern present?
Just check the whole truck is what they're saying. Damn.
20 EE or 24 FE.
So it's gonna be-
15.
it's gonna be NOx sensors, DEF problems, injector, or the SCR.
So this may be something Zoodad might want to do with the computer. RD15 says carry out a diesel particulate filter manual regen with the scan tool. Let's see. For Super Duties, carry out the diesel regen procedure.
I do want to say
Or-
something about this because
Say
technicians don't understand why we do this, and it's not to clean out the DPF. It is to burn out the SCR. It's burn out the reductant that could possibly be built up on the SCR. It's not anything to do with the DPF, even though they're part of the whole same thing.
What is another word for the SCR? Like people don't know what an SCR is. So like you have the DPF, that's the
Selective.
filter.
Selective
Yeah,
catalyst
they are.
induction,
The SCR is
Catalytic converter.
catalytic
Is-
converter.
the corkscrew.
Well,
And
that's
the-
a mixer prior to it, but
In
But it
the
mixes-
SCR.
the SCR
Yeah.
is still just a mesh of ceramic and whatever materials that they use on them now.
But I would say the DEF probably gets swirls and then gets injected into the front side of that. Right.
The DEF and exhaust swirl together right before it gets into the
Yeah.
actual SCR.
So they want to
Did it-
know after doing the regen, is that code present? If it is present, it wants you to go to the next pinpoint test step.
We got to do a regen right now.
Let's assume it was still there.
Okay.
What you guys don't know right now, and I don't want to say anything because we're gonna continue forward. But I'm gonna wait to the end. So let's say the regen went through. We still have this code. So now RD21 says wants us to check the reductant dosing measurement. So this is what Cody was talking about. We actually pull the reductant injector out of the exhaust. I did a video on how I kind of captured and measured all at the same time how many milliliters, because we need it to be between 40 and 50 milliliters per this pinpoint test step. And if we do not, then we're going to be looking at either, pump upstream. Sometimes there's something wrong with the injector. It could be restriction. But one of the biggest things I remember Cody talking about when we first really started diving into 207F and 20E is to do the dosing test like 5 times hot, like 5 times cold.
5 times hot, 5 times cold.
You'll get different amounts. And
if it fails, high or low, replace it. Period.
Yeah. Or
Done.
do you just shotgun a injector on it? So these are things, you got to look at the spray pattern, and then you look at, so it could be dispensing 50 milliliters, but you can't have it dripping into the exhaust. You need it to, and it's supposed to be circular. It's supposed to be cone into your container. You don't want it to look like a laser beam going out. That's not right. I had an ambulance where I was having a weird, did they have 20 EE? It had something really weird, and I pulled the injector out and used my mirror. There was a ball of DEF just sitting right underneath the hole of underneath the injector, and it wasn't spraying and swirling like we were just talking about into that SCR. It was spraying on the back side of this ball of DEF and was just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And I wound up having to chop it up.
That happens all the time.
And did a whole bunch of regens and got it cleaned out. But
you can just pour hot water in there and does the same thing.
Well, I didn't have hot water.
Damn, next time I'll pour hot water on it. It happens to me all the time.
It
Does
does
it
all
really?
I'm just gonna sit there with a hot water spray bottle. Shit.
That's awesome.
I always had one of those instant hot water things that like a hot water pot they use for batteries terminals. I just poured it in there. Made my own hot water.
So let's keep going. Let's say it dispensed 50 milliliters. We're going to hit yes, RD2, 22. Carry out the SCR visual leak test. It wants us to pressurize the system and look for leaks. Is a concern present? No. RD3. Check the PID reading. Okay, Zoodad, back to you. PCM, I want you to look for the SCR _ammonia PID. And the measurement is taking is mass. It says SCR ammonia mass. Looks like it could be grams, maybe. Little g.
If you had visual leaks, wouldn't you get a 2002 code though?
Wouldn't you think you'd see white, crusty stalagmites hanging from the exhaust?
You'd get white
Or
exhaust.
the tank?
Hey, Rod, it's up. Can you see it?
Oh, let me. It was in the. We have. Okay, what does it say? We need just ignition on. Ignition on. You are at 5 milligrams. Is the PID value greater than? Hold on. F series. Where's the PID? All others. F series Super Duty narrow frame or No, okay, so is the PID value greater than 0.14 ounces or 4 grams? Or is the PID value greater than 0.17 ounces, 5 grams? I don't know what the conversion of that is. So milligrams?
You should be able to convert it in Forescan. Because I don't use the metric system.
CP, it's defaulting to milligrams.
Huh. Interesting. Uh,
Okay. So if we say no, it wants us to
Grams.
check the EGR valve. If we say yes, it wants us to go and check the EGR valve. Either yes or no, it sends us to the same GD test step.
2020. Hopefully that's it.
Use care when inserting the putty knife.
Oh, the good old putty knife trick.
All right, I'm going through here. It's looking at the knock sensors. It's looking at regions, some EGTs, SCR, start a new SCR, check for correct PCM operation. Okay, so we currently, as of this afternoon, had a vehicle in 42 miles, speed's gonna be limited to 50. Dude had the vehicle off for probably, I don't know, what do you say, 6-7 hours?
Yeah, about 6-7 hours.
Okay. We just started talking here on the pregame, and he says that we have no check engine light. We have no DEF D-rate message on the IPC. He pulls up Forescan, and there are no DTCs in the PCM. None right there. See, none. We just saw, using the connected vehicle data, that the PCM PCM recorded that P24FE code and sent it to the mothership, and we were able to view that and follow the pinpoint test step accordingly. So what happened? How did it fix itself? So did we have a knock sensor that was messed up? Did we have a DEF injector that was hanging up? Possibly. I have had a couple of weird ones where I had to replace the DEF injector. Maybe tomorrow it might be beneficial if you take some electrics out there and maybe take the two 10 milli nuts that hold the DEF injector to the DPF and just look at the back side of it, see if it looks crusty with nastiness. The other thing may be go back to your screen, go back to Forescan.
What's this NCCE when he's driving?
I don't know. There's no mode 6, nothing.
That's a big deal. To know
Yeah,
what that's.
Yeah, I wonder. Okay, go to the wrench. Let me see what is listed. I can't. All right, we got.
That's weird that they don't have mode 6 on here, but they have it on the older stuff.
Damn. We don't have no. No SCR stuff? Um, hold on, I'm just thinking in my head right now.
Oh, God.
You can do a manual regen. Static regen. IQAs, reset DPF learned values. There's no mode 6. What about what's the pencil and the check the clipboard? What's in
I
there? I
don't.
can't remember.
I only use forescan enough to.
Oh,
There we go, right there, mode
mode
6.
6. Yeah, click on that.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Hey, boo boo.
As long as no DTCs has been cleared, it should be.
Oh, check this out. I didn't know this. All right, look for NOx catalyst conversion efficiency. Diesel oxidation exotherm.
Right there.
No way, bro.
Not
I
ready.
didn't know you could look at this on here.
DTCs were cleared, so that's why it's not
Hmm.
showing anything. You had to go out and drive it.
Okay, so right there, Zoodad, this is what we need to do. So you need to drive the truck for a constant 15 minutes over 55 miles an hour. And we need to let this check in. And let me move my screen here. Okay, so how would you okay, hit the play. Hit the play button. Test completed, malfunction detected.
It's only you only get it. It's like a snapshot. It's not really a
So you
live
gotta like
thing.
go back into it again then or something?
Yeah, when you
Oh,
refresh
okay.
it, that's how it updates. When you do that 15-minute drive and refresh
Okay.
it.
Mm, maybe get test up there. There you go. Okay. So we need to let this check in. So at the stuff that says not ready, it's going to give us a
A
value.
value.
The min and the max, it might be min 45, max 98, and it's going to put you in between. We want it to be in between, but sometimes when we have a problem, we'll see the NCCE not be in there, and we'll be able to decipher. We'll be able to look. We'll be able to do something, a fix, or we'll try something, and we'll take it out and drive it and see if this number changed. If it didn't, then we didn't fix the problem. So then you take it back in, you do something, maybe replace a knock sensor or whatever, you're trying to do, take it back out and drive it. Whoa, this number is completely different. Okay. It is a more, how would you say it? It's not like a recheck, retest. It's a
Monitor, is what it is.
yeah, I guess.
It's like a catalyst efficiency monitor. That's exactly what it is. It's checking the efficiency of the SCR and how it's working. Basically, like if you clear this thing and the number just keeps going up every time you refresh it, it's customer driving habits, period. Because it keeps going up and stay up. Now, if it comes back and it's a low number again, then it's a hard part. That's kind of how I recommend looking at it. It's like clear the DTC, go out and drive it, update it like 4 or 5 times. Yeah, you're gonna spend an hour driving it, but you're gonna know if it's customer driving habits, which a lot of 207F 20EEs I've seen is because they're idled a lot or low speed driving in the oil fields or stuff. So
it's really, really important to set a baseline. You need to know what the truck is doing now, what the truck is doing with the components that are on it now, with the depth that's in it now, and get that reading so you can see, okay, it's way out of range. Okay, so why would it be so out of range? and start going through, remember the video that we did, and I lost truck came back like 3-4 times, and it wound up being those ports behind the throttle body. And NCCE was one of the big things I was watching. I'd do a dosing test, come back, do something else, come back, put an injector on it, and it was just NCCE, and eventually,
Well,
what do you know?
the big giveaway on that one was the 401 that you got once,
Hmm.
which was weird that it was throwing a 20 EE over that 401.
I'm excited that we can look at NCCE with, okay, go back to the tests, Keith.
I mean, he could really go to data logger and pull up Knox 11 and Knox 12 and go out and rip it real quick on a steady cruise, and we can see what it does.
Read system monitor. There's no dosing test, huh? I wonder how could Forescan add a dosing test to Forescan?
If we can get the parameters out of FDRS of either what it's called in it, we can request it on a beta test and try it.
Wow. That would be really interesting, because I mean, I
That's
don't know if that-
important in my
it
opinion.
is. The fact that they got mode 6 and are able to access that part of the memory, I don't.
Well, mode 6 is a OBD2 thing, so I mean that should be on any basic OBD2 reader.
If it can do a manual regen and take control of the truck, I should see no reason why it shouldn't be able to do that dosing test.
That's the two things that I see wrong with Forescan is dosing
And power
test
balance
and power balance. Relative compression would be nice too, but
How can we get power balance on here, Zoodad?
Like I
Same
said, all we gotta do is look at how it's worded in FDRS, and we can put the request out to the Forescan guys, and they'll send us a beta to test.
What do you mean? How what do you mean?
So, like a PID, like you said, for the ammonia, it's underscore. As long as we know how the menu driven, how we get to that test, like the dosing test, where is that dosing test in FDRS? Service procedures, PC, wherever.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Basically,
Okay.
we map it out for them. They find the code run, and then they put it in as a test, and we run it as a beta test.
Ooh, that's killer.
I bet you can look it up in vehicle history if you've done one recently with FDRS. Because if you go through vehicle history, you can look at the detailed breakdown of FDRS.
Oh, like the breadcrumbs, you mean?
Yeah, or maybe I could if you give me a VIN number.
I don't have one that I mean, just his. I don't know if
Have you
he
done it
had-
on? Have you done it when he was in the shop or no?
It was just to do the APIM.
Oh, then yeah. If you actually do the dosing test, it'll show dosing test. Then you can click details and it'll show all the drop down, what you did and everything.
Freaking A. I like Forescan. It's something we talk about all the time, and I'm so glad to have been brought to have Forescan brought to my attention, because it's something that I think complements FDRS and IDS, and especially having all those two and then having Forescan. I mean, you guys don't have Forescan, FDRS and IDS, so I mean, I almost rather use Forescan.
I mean, I rather use Forescan on my stuff because I mean, all my stuff is dinosaurs. So
True. Let's see. How in the HE double hockey sticks did I get over here?
I drove it. It drives great. Yeah.
Where's my other window? Oh, here it is. All right, let me get out of here. Bookmarks. So we're gonna leave Zoodad with manual regen, or maybe go drive it first, watch that NCCE, establish a baseline, report back, and then maybe do a manual regen. Where'd my chat go? I forgot about the chat. Diesel, I thought brake clean, pressure washer, chainsaw. Got my iDash still waiting on mount. Not freaking happy. Sorry, bud.
Well, at least you've got a truck. Some people might not have trucks here soon.
Ooh. Let alone the parts.
Well, you see the UAW voted to strike if it does happen.
You ready, Aaron?
Yeah,
You
ready to rock and roll.
ready to show these people the contraption?
Bust it out.
All right, guys. Some of you may or may not know what this is. Some of you seen it on my channel, maybe Ray's channel. I don't know if you ever showed it.
The thing in the background might give you a hint.
I don't know if you ever seen this. Well, you guys haven't seen this generation yet. This is the newest generation that's getting unveiled at SEMA. This is the next generation JM3 oil filter wrench. You guys were asking for the ratcheting type design, and that's exactly what was given to you, except it was just made a little simpler. It's very easy how it works. There's a cam here that's built into the handle, free floating. It's got a tooth on the end of it, and then it's got edges that are serrated in the center pivoting point right here. And it actually will skip across itself and grab whether you go one way or the other. Now I'll demonstrate how it works. This goes on top of the filter, and it will go one way and click, but it won't go back. It's stuck into the cam. So picture your hand underneath the vehicle, and you remember the old style, you used to take your palm and put up against it and pull your fingers into it, and that's what would break it loose. Now you don't even have to really remove your hand from the tool. All you have to do is ratchet it tight.
Cool.
Or if you're in a tight spot, you got one flat, about a half an inch per turn. If you need it to break it loose, the same thing. Keep the cam pulled into your fingers. So it almost teaches you how to use it. And you'll go here, flip it the other way, does the same exact thing.
That's pretty awesome.
So there's no more hand lever in it anymore. Before, you used to be able to pull your hand. It still works. It's still a great tool. The fulcrum, kind of like a, what would you call it? It's a torque multiplier. That was how it was used before. But now you have the ratcheting mechanism in one. That's what you guys were asking for. That's what you got. This is the first C that you're going to see on social media. Anything here is the first time it's been shown. This concept has actually been out for about 10 years now, and it was just finalized recently. And a couple different ways you can use it to tighten. You can use it to loosen. Also, what it ends up happening is if you get into a spot and you're in a tight spot and you got to take the filter out of it, instead of taking the tool off and putting it back on like you had to before or something, you don't have to do that anymore. It's all in your hand. It's the motion of you being in that spot and you get one flat. If you got to turn tight, it's about a half inch. You get a flat, get a flat, get a flat. It actually turns very tight. Now, if the filter's hot, you don't want to touch it. The vehicle just rolled in. You actually can take it off of the vehicle by leaving it in the tool itself and go ahead and you got a tight spot and dump the rest of the oil out without putting your hand and stuff on it. And then you can go ahead and pull the filter out of it, drop it in your oil bin. It's a great tool. Very, very easy to use, very simple.
That logo right there with the head of the Allen keys on it. I was talking to Michael earlier today. Yeah, this part. If that's facing you, that's loosening.
Flip it
Tightening
the other
would be
way.
flip it the other way, it tightens.
If you got greasy hands or something and you don't want to just use your hands only, you don't want to take your gloves off, you can pick that thing up, flip it the other way and get that last little quarter turn. Good to go.
Ow, my hip just popped.
It does not damage the filter either.
No?
No,
No,
No.
So this one, it'd be for 820 and FL 2124.
Yep. And we will be showing you guys more of that here in the future, but we decided that we wanted to show you kind of about it tonight while we're all here. There's nobody else that's made a video about it. We wanted to release it here on Aaron's channel. And
I like it.
that's where you're going to be seeing more on my channel about it. I have the time to put into showing you guys. Some other guys are really, really busy. With me being the manager at my place, I can actually make time to stop the jobs, grab the tool, go use it in between and stuff like that and show you this. I'm more excited about this than I was about the old one. Why? Because I love being able to pull on stuff and crank on stuff. And when I go grab these tools, when everything else is failing and people are like, oh, just put a screwdriver through it. Yeah, a lot of times screwdrivers just rip right through the metal and you're stuck with a base that's still up there. Or you got to grab a torch in some cases, honestly, that's been on there so long and so tight just to make the seal on the top of the oil filter soft enough to start to spin it off in severe cases, or get an air hammer out to chisel the base. With this, I ain't got to do that.
yeah, I got a few oil changes to do, maybe tomorrow or Friday, and they're the 6.7 diesels. So that'd be a good opportunity.
Centennial asks, what's the cost on those Ford, boss?
That's something that we are not talking about right now, but I'm pretty sure it's probably going to be comparable to what was there before.
Roger that.
So it's just something that I'm showing you the tool, but you know, at the end of the day, if you need it, if it's going to make you more efficient, if it's going to make your shop more efficient, I'm pretty sure you're going to find a reason to buy it.
I mean, I'd be interested if it'll take off a stuck 7.3 filter.
You're getting yours. I told him to just don't bother you right now because of the baby and everything else. And I said, let him kind of get situated or whatever. And then,
Yeah, I'm so far out of it right now. I don't even know what day it is. Like, I'm surprised I remembered it was Wednesday.
We all know. We all know.
He told-
man.
he told me to let you know yours is coming. He just wants to make contact with you and stuff. So he's not sending you one you don't need. He wants to give you the right one.
I got one.
Surprise!
I got one.
Well, I mean, I've either got big filters or small filters. I use a 910 on the Mariner, or I use the 1995 on the truck.
Yeah. Well, that's it, guys. That's the new JM3 oil filter wrench that we're going to be talking about more closer to SEMA and stuff, and more of the public's going to get to see. And we were kind of debating on whether we were going to talk about it or not, but we felt that now was the right time. Okay, that's it.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
One of these could be yours. And the pleasure of viewing Friday's masterpiece that is up and ready for you guys is it's gonna be nice.
They made it wider, so it doesn't push into your fingers as much and make it feel uncomfortable. So when your fingers are sitting on this or your palm was sitting on it, you got more real estate now. That was one of the complaints, is people that don't do service like we do all the time, that they're not, getting their arms cut open and hands cut open all the time. To us, we're like, hey, we don't even feel that. Well, people that don't do stuff like us all the time that bought these, they were like, it kind of hurts my palm or whatever. And now the real estate where your hand goes has actually been widened. So it's much more comfortable, spreads the load out a little bit more. And it's really nice. It's really
It does
nice.
fit in your hand.
I
It fits
noticed
in your
that
hand
when I
nicely.
looked at mine. Yeah, it's got a better feel to it than the previous gen.
It does.
It's like a natural feeling.
The double whammy. All right, everybody. I appreciate you. I appreciate
Hey,
you.
Aaron.
I appreciate you,
Aaron,
Anthony.
you want to come do a fuel system for me? Because I don't want to do it.
Yeah, let's do it on our note.
Send it over to my shop or I'll do it for you.
Yeah.
All
yeah,
right.
Send
yeah,
it down to me. I'll do it.
yeah,
I'm tired
yeah,
of doing
yeah,
them, man.
You can send every single one to me. I've got a driveway. I'll do them in the driveway.
Well, I got a
You
shop. You can come up here.
yeah.
He's got to be at home right now.
Yeah.
He's
Unless
got-
you're gonna take all three of us.
Bring it on. Bring it on.
All right, everybody. I appreciate you guys. Check out Friday's video. It's going to be a doozy. Zoo Dad, I Do Cars, and the fellas. I appreciate you guys.